Right, so in previous video actually I had made this constructor as public, but it should be private. We'll just use static factory to create a tuple. Alright, so moving on, let us start writing some methods. So the first method we'll write is something like this. Public, and we'll just say void apply underscore 1. What does apply 1 signify? It means that do some operation on t1, right? Do some operation on the first element. So we will say like this. So we will accept a function that is functional interface that accepts t1 as input, and some r value will be an output, and function will be, let's say, function name, right? What will be the return type? The return type will be tuple uh, tuple of r comma t2. Sorry, it should be uh, r comma t2. That is correct, r comma t2, right? And objects dot require non null function. Okay, let us correct this thing, and we will say return tuple2 dot of function dot apply t1, and just return t2 as it is, no changes needed. So this is apply 1. Same thing we have to do for operation on t2, right? So what kind of operation we will do on t2, that will be determined by the function interface. So we'll return t1 as it is, and we'll return a new type for t2, and we'll accept a function. Okay, be careful about using these function types, right? You want to make sure that you use the right ones. Function, and again same thing. Let me just be lazy and copy everything. Function dot apply, we have to apply it for t2, not t1. So we'll keep t1 as it is, and we'll say function dot apply t2, and the return type would be t1 and r. All right, so we've operated something on t1 and returned r. We operated something on t2 and we returned r. All right, what if you want to apply some kind of function on both the parameters and return a new tuple, right? So that is also an interesting use case. So what you can do is you can say public, let us come back to return types in a while, because this will be an interesting thing to build. We'll say it again. Let us come back to return type in a while. Let's say apply both, right? And you will accept by function by function of t1 and t2, and this by function will create a new tuple of type r1 and r2. So see how interesting this is. You accept t1 and t2, and it will return a new tuple of type r1 and r2. It can be any type, right? So you will say r1 comma r2 over here, and just paste those things over here also. Okay, so now you have by function, import it, objects dot require non null by function. Okay, make this tuple2, and the only thing you have to do is something like this. Say return by function dot apply t1 and t2. Okay, so t1 comma t2, that's it, right? Interesting. Now one more method. This method will return tuple, will actually do operation on both the values of tuple, but it will have different functions. So we will combine apply 1 and apply 2. Okay, so how to do that? Okay, so you can have something like this. Public, of course it will be r1 and r2, and tuple2 again r1 and r2, and say apply. We'll say function that accepts t1 and returns r1, function 1, and another function would be that takes in t2 and returns r2 function 2. Okay, now we'll just say, okay, objects.require null function 1 require null function 2, say return new tuple r1 r2. We really don't need this because type inference will work just fine. Function 1 dot apply t1 and function 2 dot apply t2. That's it. So we just return a new tuple out of it. Now let us so this is the pretty much this is the thing that we need, right? There can be different methods, right? Like to list or to map. So if you want to do something like that, then you can create a list of it, right? So you can say list of 2 elements, or you can create a map out of it. So if you want to create a map out of it, you can do something like this, t1 comma t2 and say to map, and you will say collections dot singleton map t1 and t2. If you have Java 9 or later, then you can use this also. Map interface is of method k and value pair. So let us use that. I have Java 9. Let us use that. Map interface dot of t1 t2. All right, that's it. You can do set dot of and return set. You can return list, anything that you want to do, right? So this is the basic of tuple class. Moving on, in next video, what we will see is how can we really use this class to build a validator. Now mind you, it will not be a final solution, but something that will give you an idea of what the final solution will look like. All right.